What if I told you that a complete beginner could build a real AI agent in 2026? One that actually does work, not just chats, using only 2 or 3 platforms and 0 code. So most people are still stuck using AI like a search box. And whether you're a business owner, a creator, or just AI curious, the real leverage is on the other side of that. Agents that do things for you. So today I'm giving you the exact 3 platform path that I'd follow if I started over from 0. Easiest first, plus how to build your first automation from scratch, step by step. Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Jake Dawson, and I help you use AI without eating your whole day. So let's get into it. Okay, first thing, because everyone throws this word around and nobody really defines it. So what an AI agent actually is. Here's the whole idea in one sentence. A normal AI answers you, an agent does things for you. That's it. That's the whole difference. So when you type into ChatGPT or Claude and it writes you an email, that's a chatbot. So it gave you words. You still have to copy them, paste them, and hit send. You're doing that work. An agent is when the AI writes the email, it opens your inbox, and then it sends it, and it follows up in 3 days if no one replies. So that's without you touching any of it. The mental shift is stop thinking of AI as something that you talk to and start thinking of it as something that you hand a job to. Now, the thing that makes agents possible under the hood is a piece of plumbing called MCP. You don't need to learn it just yet, but it is worth knowing the name because it is why all of this suddenly works. So MCP is basically a universal adapter that lets AI reach into your app. So your files, your email, your calendar. If you want to know more about it, I made a whole video explaining what it is and how to use it, and I'll drop it on the top right of this video right about now. So the nice thing is you don't have to touch MCP directly. The platforms that I'm about to show you handle it for you. But now when someone says it, you'll know it's just the wiring that lets agents reach your stuff. So let's talk about where a beginner should actually start. If I started from 0 today, I would not try to learn everything at once. That's the mistake. I would go in a specific order. Easiest and most useful first, most powerful last. Okay, 3 platforms that we're talking about today. First, I'd use Claude with Skills and Cowork. So this is where a total beginner should start. There's no install headache, there's no setup wall. Next would be OpenClaw. So this is a step up. It's the one tool that turns your AI into something that actually lives in the apps that you already use, and it works around the clock. And there's a shortcut version so you don't have to be too technical. I'll explain later. Another tool you could use, and this is the one that I'm going to mostly just mention, ChatGPT agent. So it's OpenAI's version of an agent that can go off and use your browser and do tasks for you. It is genuinely capable. If you already live in ChatGPT, poke at its agent mode. It's the same core idea as everything else in here. So the path is start in Claude and graduate to OpenClaw. Start by going to Claude by Anthropic. So there are 2 pieces here that you want to understand, skills and cowork. A skill is basically a little folder of instructions that you give to Claude. A set of steps, examples, maybe a template for a specific task that you do over and over. Anthropic actually launched these in October 2025, and then they made them an open standard in December, which means they're not locked to Claude anymore. Now, here's why all of this matters for a beginner. You don't have to explain yourself from scratch every single time. Let's say you write client update emails in a very specific way. So your tone, your structure, your sign off. Instead of re-explaining that every time, you build it once as a skill now, and then Claude just knows. So whenever the task comes up, it loads that skill and it does it your way. And the clever part here is that skills stack. So you can have one for your email style, one for your brand colors, one for how you format your reports, and Claude figures out which ones to grab for the job in front of it. Now, the second piece is Cowork. So if skills are the instructions, Cowork is the AI actually rolling up its sleeves. Cowork lets Claude work directly with your files and your folders on your computer. You hand it real tasks and it shows you a plan first. You approve it and then it goes out and it does it while you watch or grab a coffee. Let's make that more concrete. Say you've got a folder of 40 messy receipts and you need an expense report. Normally, that's an hour of your life that you're not getting back. With Cowork, you point Claude at the folder and you say, read these and build me a spreadsheet. Categorize with a totals row. It plans it and you say go, and it builds the actual file. A real spreadsheet, real formulas, that right there, that's your first taste of an agent. It's not chatting, it's doing. Honest note here, so Cowork is compute heavy, so it works best when your machine is on and you've clearly told it what done looks like. And I'm still in the curious watching category on the more complicated multi-app stuff, but if you point it at a folder and you give it a job, it's excellent. And it's the perfect place to build your confidence. All right, part 2. So this is the one that I'm genuinely excited about because it changes the whole feel of using AI. It's called OpenClaw, and here's the simplest way to describe it. It's an AI agent that runs on its own computer in the background, and you talk to it through the apps that you already use, like WhatsApp, Telegram, Slack, Teams, even iMessage. So instead of opening some AI website and sitting in a chat window, you just text your agent like you text a coworker, and it texts you back. It does the thing. So just let that land for a second. Your AI is no longer a tab that you have to open. It's a contact in your phone. So here's what that actually unlocks. Let's say you want a morning briefing and you tell your OpenClaw agent once every morning at 7 a.m., check my email and tell me what actually needs me, and then send it to me through Telegram. And now every single morning, before you even open your laptop, you get a message. Not your whole inbox, just what matters. So just that one thing changed how I start my day. I stopped waking up and drowning in email. And you can chain these too. Watch this competitor's pricing page and ping me if anything changes. Draft replies to anything routine and let me approve them. Remind me to follow up with anyone who went quiet. Every one of those is a little agent running in the background, and you manage all of them from a text thread. Now, here's the honest fork in the road, and this matters for beginners. So OpenClaw is open source. That's the good news because the software itself is free and it's incredibly flexible. But one catch to be clear on, free to use isn't the same thing as free. So OpenClaw is just the agent. You plug your own AI model into it and you pay for that model usage as you go. So your running cost is basically whatever model that you connect it to. The other catch is the do-it-yourself version means that you set it up yourself. And let me walk you through what that actually looks like, because set it up yourself is where most tutorials wave goodbye. Okay, so you install it and you connect the AI model that you want it to run on, and then you link one app that you want to talk to it with, whether that's WhatsApp, Telegram, or whatever, and you keep it running somewhere that stays on. Now, that last part is the one that normally trips people up. It can't live on a laptop that you close at night. So most people either leave it on an old computer or they rent a cheap cloud server to host it on. It is very powerful, but this path means it is a project. It's a couple of evenings, not 5 minutes. So if you're technical and you like tinkering, do it. That's the fun part. But if you're a complete beginner and you don't want to touch any of that, there is a shortcut and you can use it through Genspark Claw. So same idea here, your own AI agent running on its own computer. You can message it through WhatsApp, Slack, or Telegram, except Genspark hands it to you ready to go. That means no install, no wiring, you just start messaging it. The pricing works a little differently here. Instead of plugging in your own model, you're paying for a Genspark plan, plus a little bit on top of that for the hosting that keeps your Claw agent running around the clock. So you're paying someone else to handle the machinery, and under the hood, it's running the full Genspark engine. So that means it can build slides, run research, make documents, the whole thing right from a text message. The rule of thumb here is if you want to learn the machinery and you don't mind a setup weekend, self-host OpenClaw. If you just want the result, an always-on agent in your pocket without the technical part, start with Genspark Claw and then graduate to self-hosting later if you ever want more control. Either way, this is the part where AI stops being a website that you visit and becomes something that works while you sleep. That is the leap. Okay, let's actually build something because talking about it is nothing compared to doing it. I'm going to walk you through your very first automation, the morning email briefing, because it's simple, it's useful every single day, and it teaches you the pattern of everything else. Today we'll do it the beginner way through Genspark Claw, the ready-to-go version, so there's no install and there's no code. Now, if you set up your own OpenClaw earlier, you're already past step 1, so you just follow along from step 2. But step 1 is you get your agent talking. So if you went the Genspark Claw route, this is where you sign in and you connect it to a messaging app that you want to use, WhatsApp, Telegram, Slack, whatever that is. And then you get to the point where you can text it, hey, and it texts back. If you're self-hosted, you've already done this. But either way, don't move on until that handshake works. That's the foundation. Step 2, connect one tool, just one. In this case, your email. You give the agent permission to read your inbox. Same kind of login screen that you've seen 100 times. You approve it, done. Resist the urge to connect 10 things. One tool, one win. Step 3, describe the job in plain English. So no code, no settings. You literally type what you want the way you tell a new assistant. Something like, every morning at 7 a.m., look at my new emails. Ignore the newsletters and the promotions and send me a short list of only the ones that actually need a reply. Put the sender and a one-line summary for each. That's it. That's the automation. Step 4, test it once, right now. Don't wait for tomorrow morning. Tell it to run right now so you can see it. It'll go read your inbox and it'll send you the briefing right on the spot. So this is the moment it becomes real. You read that first briefing and you go, oh, this is going to save me every day. And then step 5, let it run and then adjust. Tomorrow at 7, it will fire on its own. And here's the key beginner habit here. When it gets something slightly wrong, maybe it flags something you didn't care about, you don't dig into the settings, you just tell it in plain English. From now on, skip anything from this sender. It learns. So you tune it just by talking to it, and that's the whole pattern. You get an agent, you connect one tool, describe the job, test it, tune it by talking. From this point, every automation that you'll ever build, whether it's competitor monitoring or follow-up reminders or research digest, is just going to be that same 5-step loop with a different job. And that's the thing that I wish someone had told beginner me. You don't learn agents by studying them. You learn them by building one tiny useful one, and then you get greedy. So this is the one that I teased at the start. Of everything I built, the setup that actually changed my daily life wasn't the flashy one. It was exactly that morning briefing. But I kept adding to it until my agent basically became the chief of staff living in my Telegram. It tells me what needs me in the morning. It drafts me the replies that I'm dreading. It watches a couple of things that I care about, and it pings me only when something moves. It reminds me about people I said that I'd follow up with and I forgot. And sure, none of those are impressive on their own, but added up, they gave me back the first 2 hours of my day. The reactive, drowning in notifications part. Now that part quietly runs my week. And that's the real lesson of learning agents in 2026. The goal isn't the coolest demo. It's finding the boring, repeated thing that you do every day and handing it to something that never gets tired of doing it. All right, before we wrap, my honest take and a few tips that I found, you don't have to start this by trying to understand how any of it works under the hood. So you don't need to learn MCP internals or comparing every tool. That was my mistake. Learn from it. Start by building the tiny thing first. Understanding comes after, and it comes faster once you've actually shipped something. But the one thing that you do want to keep an eye on is your permissions. When you connect a tool to an agent, you're giving it access to real stuff like your emails, your files. So start with low-stake connections. Get comfortable and then expand. Don't wire up your entire life in one day. Oh, and one more thing. Pick one platform and go deep before you jump to the next one. So the overwhelm doesn't come from the tools being hard, it comes from trying to learn all three at once. Go with Claude first, get a win, and then climb. But honestly, there's never been a better time to be a beginner at this. This stuff that used to take a developer now takes a sentence. So that's a real win. Honestly, if I was starting over in 2026, that's the exact path I take. Understand what an agent is. Start with Claude using Skills and Cowork, and then graduate to OpenClaw or Genspark Claw, and then keep ChatGPT Agent in your back pocket. Build one tiny automation and then get greedy. So if you want the starter setups, the skills files, the exact prompts that I use for all of this, I keep them in my Skool community. The link for that is in the description, and it's where I share all the behind the scenes builds and I give feedback on what people are actually shipping. So most of the real breakthroughs happen there. And hey, let me know in the comments, what's the first thing that you'd actually hand off to an agent? Is it the morning email? Is it follow-ups? Is it something else in your business? Hey, I read everyone. I want to thank you guys again so much for hanging out with me today, and I will see you in the next video where we're going to take this even further. Just click on the video to my left and you will see exactly what I mean. I'll see you there.